Katie here at Vibe. Today I'm going to walk you through a whole video on how to utilize Vibe in a teaching setting. We've been getting a lot of questions from educators around the country regarding how to use Vibe with synchronous, asynchronous, hybrid learning, in-person, or maybe just remote learning. So we wanted to share a lot of stuff that we've learned from some of our existing customers on how they're currently using Vibe in the classroom. But please note, this is not everything and anything you could do with Vibe. There's definitely more features you could utilize in a teaching setting. I put together an agenda, focusing on a few key features today, but first wanted to start off talking a little bit about what Vibe is, then dive into our whiteboarding features, importing documents, video conferencing integration options, how you can do remote collaboration with Vibe, talking a bit more about additional third-party apps beyond video conferencing, how you could use Vibe as a second screencasting from any type of device, and then some organizational tips, and then wrap it up with where you can find some additional resources and what kind of ongoing support we offer all of our customers. Let's get started. So first of all, what is Vibe? If you're a teacher, you've probably used something like a Smartboard or Promethean. Vibe is a fully independent company. We've actually been around since 2016. Our headquarters in the Seattle area, and we're a global team. So even though support and sales are in Seattle, we kind of have offices all over the world. Our key features are we have a 55-inch 4K resolution touchscreen television. So we only have one size model right now. We're hoping to come out with some bigger models, hopefully in 2021. We do have our own proprietary software. So you can use our software on pretty much any type of device. It is a cloud-based software. So that's a really nice advantage if you want to do remote collaboration, connect in real time on a whiteboard with your students who might be at home. We are agnostic, so you can screencast from any device. We have an Android operating system, so we offer a ton of integrations with third-party apps. And most importantly, we're affordable. So Vibe is only $29.99, including free shipping in the US. We love to keep the cost down for all of our customers. And best of all, even though you can use a computer with Vibe, you don't need to adjust an additional projector, don't have to worry about calibration or anything like that. Vibe can be used as a standalone device. Whiteboarding. So this is obviously our bread and butter, most exciting feature. As you can see over here on the right, we have a big toolbar where you can utilize a lot of different whiteboarding features. So a lot of teachers like to use our infinite canvas. You can think of it almost like an infinite flipboard. You can do whatever you want on it. A lot of math teachers like to work in real time to show problem solving to their students. So let's go through some of the whiteboarding features. So this toolbar can also be adjusted to the other side of the screen if you're left-handed or would just prefer to write on that side. Starting off at the very top, this is our whiteboarding pen. So if I just want to start drawing right on the canvas, it has a very nice response time. You can also adjust the thickness of the pen that you're using if you want something a little bit thinner versus this mega thick option here. And there's a bunch of fun color options to choose from, so you can really make it fun and creative for your students. There's also a highlighter feature. So I really like to use this to highlight on top of text or on top of drawing. It has a really nice transparent color. You'll still be able to see all the text underneath. We also have a feature called the laser pointer. So this is great if you wanted to draw attention to something. Maybe you're just walking someone through a PowerPoint traditional kind of lecture deck, or drawing attention to a problem that they've written on the board. This is a great option to point things out and not worry about leaving a mark. We have a few AI features. So these are really awesome if you maybe don't have the best handwriting. It'll take your handwriting and convert that over into a text box. Then you can resize this, move it around on the canvas. So this is just a fun way to add text and you're not having to worry, can my students read my handwriting? We have something similar for shapes. So I love to use this if I'm diagramming, but also if you ever need to draw a perfect circle, perfect square, the shape corrector is there to save you. It can't do miracles, so you notice that my arrow did not make the cut, but we do have an eraser feature. So when you're on the eraser mode, you can use your stylus to erase a small portion. The faster you move that stylus, the bigger the eraser gets, so way faster than a regular whiteboard. We also have an undo button, so that one's one of my favorites. If I accidentally make a mark or erase too much, you can hit undo there. And then there's also a way where you can just clear out the canvas. So you'll notice that the PowerPoint I've imported stays there, it becomes like the background to your board, but it'll delete everything else when you go ahead and clear the canvas. We also have sticky notes, so depending on what type of exercises you might be doing with your students, this can be fun for brainstorming or matching exercises. You can add text, and there's 5 different color options to choose from. I personally also like to use this to stay organized, so I kind of like to use the sticky notes for, just like my running to-do list, kind of moving those around on the board. We also have a lasso tool. So the lasso tool is great if you change your mind about something that you've drawn on the canvas. I can use this lasso feature to lasso it and move it kind of where I want it. You can also use the lasso tool to move groups of objects. So if you're rearranging a lot of sticky notes, that's a good feature to know about. We also have different background colors and patterns. So I'm going to pinch out, get some more room, because the canvas is infinite. Can always clear off some more space. Want to show you guys the background colors. So we have a yellow, a blue, or a gray. That can be nice to add a bit of contrast and see kind of where your PowerPoint or document is. You can also, if you miss the Blackboard feel, do a dark black background, which can look really nice with some of the colors on here, show up like that. Or you can do a darker gray background. So a lot of different options there to choose from. And then for my math teachers out there, we do have an option to add different patterns. So I really like the square or the graph, can be really helpful. I'll pinch in so you guys can see that pattern and use that kind of as a reference point. And then you can always take that off and go back to solid when you're done. I'm going to talk about how you can import documents next, but those are all of the awesome whiteboarding features we have available today. So here's an example of how you could potentially use the whiteboard to just make a simple, welcome message for your student. I know that a lot of you love using those flip chart formats. Let's look at importing documents. So once you create your Vibe account, you can tie your account to cloud storage. So going over here to the top, to the bottom of the toolbar menu, this plus sign, this is where I can integrate with Google Drive, Dropbox, OneDrive, or Box, and be able to import files directly into the canvas. The type of file you can import is going to depend on your cloud storage. So for anything, you can import a PDF or an image file. With Google Drive, you can import the Google formats, and then with Microsoft, you can do OneDrive or Dropbox to import these file types as well. So if I wanted to just pull in, maybe a fun image I had from Google Drive, it will import, kind of like the sticky note where I can put it in, resize it, and move it around the canvas. So if you had screenshots, fun images, maybe pictures that's part of your lesson, you can import it like this and then kind of resize, put it where you want. When you import documents, like maybe you wanted to import a Google Doc of your lesson plan for the day so you can walk through that with your students, it'll import kind of like this PDF where you can pinch out on the canvas, but it's become almost like the background to your board. So even if I go and clear it out, it's still going to be there. So that's a really nice option for presentations, reviewing documents with students, and you'll be able to kind of whiteboard on top of that, which is really nice. A lot of professors will like to import their PowerPoint into the board itself and use the highlighter or laser pointer feature just to keep students a little bit more engaged. I know the average attention span is about 7 minutes, so anything that I can do when I'm demoing or teaching people to keep it interactive, I really love to use the whiteboarding features for that. Let's look at video conferencing options. So I know a lot of us are looking at, being remote for the time being. So how do I bring this whiteboard into my audience using video conferencing integrations? So one big thing to note about Vibe is we do not have a built-in webcam. But the good news is you can attach pretty much any type of webcam you'd like. There's 2 USB ports in the back. So a popular one, if you wanted to attach one on top, would be like, this is a Logitech Brio model I have hooked up, added to the back. When I'm doing my demos, I actually like to host the Zoom meeting from my computer and attach a camera there and then point that at the board. And then I join the meeting using our Zoom integration and just share my screen. And I just connect to audio from my computer, not from the board. So there's a lot of flexibility depending on are you doing a hybrid class? Are you doing, synchronous class where everyone's on Zoom together? There's different ways you can set that up and integrate with different video conferencing platforms. So we integrate with a lot. You can use Zoom, you can use Microsoft Teams, Google Meet, WebEx, GoToMeeting, and RingCentral are some of the options that we currently have. So you can kind of pick and choose what your favorite video conferencing solution would be to use on Vibe. All of our third-party apps are going to be similar to if you've used these programs on a phone or a tablet. So we have an Android operating system. These are going to be like the Android tablet versions of these programs. Let's talk a bit about remote collaboration. So if someone's just viewing through Zoom, how do I get students to how do I invite them in to collaborate with me on the whiteboard, on the canvas? So you can share the board that you're on. You can invite them in over email. There's also a way for you to invite them as edit or view only if you want them to collaborate with you on a canvas. Students can create their own Vibe account. So if you're going to be doing a lot of collaboration, they can have individual accounts. You can share boards back and forth, kind of pick up where you left off. If you don't want them to create an account, you can also invite them in to collaborate as anonymous editors. So you won't be able to tell individually who those students are, but you won't have to worry about them having to create a login and remember that. You can just invite them in anonymously. Maybe talk a little bit about rules of operation before you invite them in. So students can join you from other Vibe boards, but pretty much a web browser on any device would work. So if they just have a computer at home or a tablet, they can go to a web browser. It's just app.vibe.us to join you on a board. We also have an app for iPads. So that can be really fun if they already have an iPad. Their iPad kind of becomes like a mini Vibe that they can collaborate with you in real time. Let me show you what this would look like. So just pulling out my iPad here, I've already joined on the same board. Oops. And then when they're writing from their account, so maybe they're filling out letters, you'll be able to see them pop up almost in real time. So this can be a really nice way to be able to kind of keep that connection with your students even when they're at home. Just keep it really engaging. Let's talk about some more third-party applications. So some of the most popular ones are going to be Canvas, Google Classroom, Blackboard, Flipgrid, Kahoot, just pulling up a Chrome browser to pull up anything on Google, YouTube, or PowerPoint. So all of these apps are going to be specific to your device. You can kind of pick and choose what you would use the most. We have over 50 curated ones that we've tested out, and then customers that are more tech savvy can also enable Google Play. So after you enable Google Play, you can pretty much download and test out any Android app you'd want. So if there's ones beyond our curated list, you're welcome to test them out and see if they're compatible with Vibe. To download new applications, you just come here to the App Store. This is the Vibe App Store, so these are going to be ones and you can also set up an admin passcode to restrict this. You can kind of pick and choose which ones you want here. This is also where you go to launch a new app. So if I wanted to maybe pull something up on Chrome, I could come here, pull that up, and be able to display that. So if I was putting together some content for a class, one way I like to use the Chrome app, for example, is use our screenshot feature. So you can use this to kind of screenshot images you'd want to utilize on the whiteboard, like a map or images of animals you can use for an alphabet game. You can also do a split screen mode when you're doing this. So if I wanted to use the Vibe board next to Chrome at the same time, I go to the Launch Center over here on the right, I select the apps I want to use, drag them together, let go, and then they'll launch side by side. As soon as this is done loading, you can also annotate. So you can annotate on anything by just tapping this pencil icon down here at the bottom right. It will allow me to, be able to circle, kind of point things out of whatever's on the screen. I can also use this feature to save this as a screenshot to the board that I'm on. So this is a great way to be able to just pull in screenshots from any application. You can also use this when you're screencasting. So just a helpful tip to know about as you're putting together different types of content. And then when you're done, you can just X out and pull this over to the side when you're done using that app. So here's an example of how you could pull in those screenshots and kind of have a nice illustration for your students. Now, for any applications we don't offer integrations with, or let's say you're more comfortable doing a PowerPoint from your computer than importing it into the Canvas, you can also use Vibe as a second screen. So depending on the type of device, there's a few different options for wirelessly screencasting. eShare is a third-party app that you can use on pretty much any device. We have a special video on this if you want to check out what eShare looks like. But what's cool about eShare is you can enable touchback. So I can be casting from my computer and then manipulating the content on the board. If you have a Mac computer, you can use AirPlay to be able to cast from your computer or phone any content on the board. You can also use Chromecast. And if you don't want to do wireless casting, you can always use an HDMI cord to connect to your computer and use Vibe as a second screen. Anytime you're casting, you can start annotating like I did earlier on that third-party app. You can also pull in screenshots. So you can still, make it engaging even if you're doing your presentation or your lesson from your computer from a different device. So I know a lot of teachers out there love to stay organized. I wanted to share a few extra tips and features to help you stay organized if you end up using Vibe in your classroom. So one thing I hear over and over again from a lot of professors and teachers is the way to make, especially with remote learning, run really smoothly is to just do a lot of prep ahead of time of how things are going to flow. I also like to utilize the Vibe web app. You can import documents like a PDF locally from our web app into your Vibe account and then pull it up on the board. So that can just be a nice time saver. Also, if you're not really used to using cloud storage, I love to utilize the web app to get kind of set up ahead of a meeting or presentation. When you create your Vibe account, you can also create folders to help keep things organized. So if I go over here to my account, you can see all the folders that I've created. So you guys can create folders for the particular unit or quarter, or if you're teaching different types of classes, make it really easy to find the boards for each kind of lesson that you're doing. You can also easily duplicate and delete boards. So if I come up here to edit, I can select which board I might want to duplicate or delete, and this is also how I can add them to a folder and keep things organized. One other feature I want to point out while we're here is the ability to create templates. So if you are doing the same kind of exercises daily or weekly with some of your students, you can create a template that you can use over and over again. Either insert that into as a page of your board or use it to create a new board. So some teachers like to do something like I think, I wonder exercise with their students, or maybe do something like a circle chart when you're doing the letters of the week. There's a lot of options here for you to create your own templates for you to use over and over again. And then when you want to insert it, you just come over here to the plus sign, go to templates, and find which one you'd want to insert into the board. A lot of people ask about what kind of ongoing support and resources does Vibe offer. So we offer ongoing support by phone, chat, and email. We're based in Seattle, so we're generally available, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. But a lot of our team is online beyond those hours. So the best way to contact us is to simply send us an email at support@vibe.us if you have questions on anything, or start chatting with us on the website. We also have a help center with a great search feature. So using the Vibe board is like the best section for getting started, how to create an account, how to do screencasting, but you can search our entire help center for any kind of article you might be interested in. We also have a bunch of video tutorials on specific features that's available on our website in the product videos section, and all of those videos are also available on our YouTube channel. So feel free to subscribe for that so you get notification as soon as new videos come out on that channel. If you still have some additional questions, on our website, vibe.us, you'll be able to see information on detailed product specifications, our security and privacy policy, warranty and return. Also in our Help Center, there's a buyer's FAQ section. So if you have questions about installation, wall mounts, other types of stands. A lot of teachers like to have an adjustable stand. So what should I look for when I'm shopping around? We have a help article on that. And then you can also schedule some time to talk to us live. So if you have specific scenarios or use cases you want to talk to one of us about, feel free to schedule some time with us, either a live demo or just email us at sales if you have any questions. Finally, if you want to get a quote for your school, simply just send us an email at sales@vibe.us. with the number of boards, and if you'd want our optional mobile stand, we'd be happy to put together a quote for you. So thank you to everyone for enjoying this presentation. We look forward to meeting you if you have any other questions we can help address, and good luck with everything this school year.